Welcome to Geek Fandom Media. I am your host, Chris, and it is officially Superman Week, you guys. How long have we been waiting for this? I've been covering this since day one, since it was announced, and we all finally get to experience Superman in theaters this week, you guys. I am so over the moon excited. But not only that, the red carpet premiere is today in LA, you guys. The social media embargo does lift tomorrow, so expect all kinds of spoilers to hit this week. It is going to be absolutely insanity to me, you guys. And they're also going to be live streaming the red carpet premiere. So if you guys are interested, I believe you can watch it on YouTube, which I will, because I want to see the cast and crew talk about James Gunn, talk about this universe, talk about Superman. I'm so fascinated by this movie, and I cannot wait to see this iteration of Superman really flourish in all kinds of ways that we haven't seen before. We haven't seen in such a long time. I mean, I love the tone, I love the color, I love the vibrantness of it. It just feels so authentic to what Superman truly is, and I believe James Gunn is going to deliver on every single aspect, you guys. People are hating on this shit. People, look, the content creators this week are going to have a field day with Superman. This is arguably going to be one of the biggest weeks of all time for content creators. Superman, the talk of the town, either it be positive or negative, it's going to get people talking. I mean, there was a story that just broke the other day about how Superman, this James Gunn confirmed that this is an immigrant story. No shit, it is. And people are upset about it. Like, oh my God, it's politics. I'm like, and I'm going to have to say the name, Tyrone. Absolutely insanity to me. The guy's a fucking goofball. It's insane. Look up the definition of immigrant. Look at the story of Superman. And you tell me if there's no similar, parallels. Absolutely insanity to me, you guys. But like I said, haters are going to be talking about it. People who love and adore are going to be talking about it. Arguably, the biggest week Superman will have is going to be this week. It's going to be ginormous. The social media embargo does lift Tuesday, like I stated. Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios, y'all are hella petty at this point. The fact that they're going to release the social media embargo for the 30 minutes that were screened for the Fantastic Four First Steps in Brazil the other day, the same day Superman drops, I'm like, come on, dude. Why are you going to do that? You guys couldn't wait an entire week? I mean, come on. That's absolutely insanity to me. I'm like, come on, dude. You could have waited. They could have waited, but the pettiness is real. But at the end of the day, it's all competition, and these studios want to end up on top. Disney, Marvel Studios have been on top for years, but it's finally time for DC to rise, you guys, honestly. But I'm really stoked, man. I can't wait. There's a whole bunch of topics we're going to be talking about in today's video, starting off with the big one. Zack Snyder and James Gunn both appeared on the Rick and Morty show last night. They both voiced their own characters, which I thought it was a brilliant idea. I truly loved it. They lightheartedly took shots at each other's versions of Superman and the Man of Steel. I thought it was absolutely perfect. I was like, I love it. I love that James Gunn is doing stuff like this. It's a hell of a way to promote and market your film. The marketing for Superman has been so astonishing. It's really blew me out of this water. I can't believe some of the stuff we've been seeing from the marketing team. It's been absolutely incredible to see, and that this is the marketing push that they needed. I think it's worked from a worldwide standpoint. Seeing everything like on, all the platforms of TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, X, all the socials, you guys, every time Superman drops, it's blowing up. It's big numbers. I mean, even look at content creators when they talk to Superman, or, when they do videos on Superman, or they do trailer reaction. It's a massive, massive audience. And I think it's a brilliant way. So James Gunn and, the marketing team, wonderful stuff. Love the episode of Rick and Morty. Thought it was absolutely hilarious. But we got some basic reports for Superman. James Gunn talked about certain things like the next chapter of Gods and Monsters and things like that. And he gives us an update on that. Variety's reporting, the budget for Superman is $200 million. It needs to break $500 million to break even. James Gunn talked about a little bit about the box office success. This is what he said. It's complete and utter nonsense. To be Superman, to flop if it doesn't make $700 million at the box office, it doesn't need to make as big as people are saying. Maybe that's true. But at the end of the day, when you're running a business, you want to see a profit. You want to be in the green, not the red. In order to really establish and flourish and continue on your universe, you want to see mega hit numbers. That also gives your creators, that gives people who want to join your universe more of a positive reception. Like, okay, this universe is doing great. They're making profits. People are loving their content. People are loving their films, their shows. That's always a plus. But if your films are in the red and they're not making money, they're not making studio profit, more than likely your films and your shows won't get seasons, second seasons, or sequels. There has to be a massive profit. And I'm pretty sure James Gunn ultimately wants Superman to make a lot of money. I mean, his Guardians films always made profit. They never crossed $900 million. They never made $1 billion, but they've always made profit. And they were arguably, really good films. Arguably one of the best trilogies in the MCU. So Superman, I truly do believe, will make a lot of money for the studio. And, it will be received absolutely well from fans. Critics, I'm not too sure. Because, we have this whole idealization of how Superman and how superhero films should ultimately be now in 2025. But I think that this is going to be a great reimagining of the story of Smallville, the story of Clark and, his parents, and the story of, these characters like Lois and Lex and Jimmy Olsen and the other heroes that are going to be established in this universe and all the metahumans. So I'm very much looking forward to what James Gunn has cooking, you guys, honestly. But also, he talked about superhero fatigue, and this is what he had to say. He said, I think there is a such thing as superhero fatigue. I think it doesn't have anything to do with superheroes. It has to do with the kind of stories that get to be told. And it's true. It's true. Because when you tell the same story over and over again, and it's just like, a duplicate, you get exhausted of it. It's like, okay, I've already seen this shit multiple times. And James Gunn stated this week, he was like, I don't need to see the pearls in the alleyway of Batman's parents getting killed. I don't need to see baby Kal-El being shot from, Krypton while it's exploding. I don't need to see the radioactive spider bite, because it's been told so many times. People know the story of Batman. People know the story of Spider-Man. People know the story of Superman. And that's where the fatigue comes in. People are like, oh, it's the same shit? Oh, okay. That's why James Gunn stated that this isn't an origin story. Yeah, there'll probably, be flashbacks of, Krypton and things of that nature, but it's not going to be the general consensus of the story. Superman's established. He's 3 to 4 years in as Superman already. There've been metahumans in this world. That's what I like so much. I like the fact that he stated that. And superhero fatigue is real, but when it comes to the same stories being told over and over and over again, how many Thors do we need? How many Captain Americas do we need? I feel like, you really have to hit it out of the park when you're trying to do an entire trilogy of a story of the same characters. They have to feel drastically different, but also feel fulfilled from a story standpoint. Why is this story being told? Why is it relevant? Why is it being made? That's important. And I think that's what James Gunn ultimately does so well. The Guardians films, putting a group of misfits together for one common goal in the first film. Peter Quill in the second film, dealing with his father. And the third film, dealing with Rocket's backstory. There's general purpose to these characters James Gunn has been writing about. And that's what I think that this universe will do ultimately so well. It will really flourish under James Gunn's leadership. And that's what I'm very much looking forward to, you guys. It's going to be awesome. And then according to James Gunn, the first phase of the DCU will address how many metahumans are in the Earth and how the government responds to these beings. In existence, it's a theme that's been explored in Creature Commandos. I like it. It's kind of like the whole Civil War thing, like the government responding to, all the heroes and having the heroes just do, anything they want. That's why they put the Sokovia Accords into play to kind of get these, metahumans and, these super individuals under control. And that's what I like. But he also stated that it's just a subplot within this first chapter. The main theme is something completely else. Now, we don't know if Darkseid's going to appear at the end of, certain Superman sequel. Nobody knows. But, I'm curious to see how, this first chapter ultimately wraps up and who's going to be the big bad, so to say, if James Gunn decides to have that route. Because we ultimately will lead to the Justice League. We ultimately will lead to our core characters coming together, the Green Lanterns, your Hawkman, your Hawk Girl eventually, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, Shazam. That's what the end goal will eventually get to. And, I'm very much looking forward to that. But take your time with it. There's no rush. Tell great stories. Make sure the scripts are great. Find great actors and writers and directors who personally love these stories and want to expand and tell these stories through a different lens. I think that's where we have to really go. But I'm excited. It's Superman week, you guys. I cannot wait. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What day are you guys seeing Superman? Are you guys excited? Avoid all spoilers at all costs. Are you watching the red carpet premiere tonight? It's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait. But honest thoughts and opinions about the topics we discussed in today's video. I want to know what you guys think. And of course, thank you guys for taking time out of your day for watching Geek Fandom Media. Peace.